I see one, man. I see one. How big is it? It's pretty big. It's like a 59 pointer.
Well, hold on. I don't see it yet.
No, man, I gotta go ahead and take the shot. Is he down?
I don't know.
Is he down?
I don't know.
Is he down?
I don't know. Let's go look.
Okay. Wow. It's beautiful. I've never seen a deer this close before. I didn't know they looked like this.
It's not a deer, Scooter, and we need to get out of here.
Why? Why do we need to leave?
Come on, let's go. What's up, everybody? My name is Scott, and you're watching Kentucky Ballistics. And it's just about that time of the year again when everyone starts roaming around the woods with their high-powered rifles. And you know, there's always been a lot of argument over what is the best deer rifle. Well, today we're going to find out. I have 10 of the most popular deer rifles, and I have a ton of ballistic gel, and we're going to find out which one truly is the best. I don't know if you know this, but today and tomorrow are the last days of my Trans Am giveaway. For only 2 more days, I am giving away my 1979 Pontiac Trans Am. For every $5 you spend on Kentucky Ballistics merchandise, you will get 1 entry, and I'm throwing in $5K for your taxes. And whoever wins this fine piece of American muscle will have 2 options. Either I will ship it to you, or you can pick it up yourself and meet me. Again, don't miss out. Only 2 days left. There's a link in the description down below and a link to the official rules. So today we're gonna take all of our shots 50 yards back, and downrange I have 2 16-inch blocks of 10% clear ballistics gel made by Clear Ballistics. We're gonna take 1 shot with each rifle, see how deep we penetrate, how much expansion we get, and how much energy we transfer. We are not gonna go in any particular order today. It's gonna be completely random. The first rifle we're gonna start out with is a Savage Axis bolt action rifle chambered in 6.5 Creedmoor. And we're loaded up with Hornady Precision Hunter 6.5 Creedmoor 143 grain ELDX. Okay, first shot of the day, here we go. Ooh. Looks like the 6.5 Creedmoor actually delivered quite a bit of energy. Looks like the round broke up quite well inside this block. And I found the jacket on the ground. There is no bullet inside it. I believe all of the bullet and the lead is broke up inside there. And actually the second block, you can see a few little pieces of lead penetrated it. So it looks like the round did a ton of damage within about the first 12 inches. And then after that, it pretty much broke up. Up next is going to be the tried and true 308 Winchester. This is a Thompson Center bolt action rifle topped off with a Nitro 30. And we'll be using the same Hornady Precision Hunter rounds. And these are 178 grain ELDX. And the best part about this next shot is I don't have to wear hearing protection because I have a handy dandy suppressor. And you know who knows the most about suppressors? That would be Silencer Shop. I greatly appreciate them always supporting the channel and keeping us quiet on set. 308, coming at you, here we go. That sounded really cool. So we had a good hit with the 308, and already I can tell the 308 penetrated further than the 6.5 Creedmoor. It seems like that round stayed together a little bit better. Looks like we made it through almost 24 inches of gel. Actually, if you flip this over, I've already cut into the block, and there is the 308 round right there in the middle of that block. And it expanded and held together pretty nicely. But looking through this block, I'm not really seeing any of the 6.5 Creedmoor, it seems like it completely dispersed into the block, and the only thing that popped out of it was the jacket. So up next is going to be the popular 30-06. This is a Ruger American bolt-action 30-06 rifle, and I have actually used this rifle quite a bit. And we're going to be loaded up again with Hornady Precision Hunter, and these are 30-06 178 grain. Here we go. So we had quite the hit with the 30-06, and we had some interesting results. We actually have our jacket laying right here on the table, and that thing is pretty hot. And if we look at our blocks right here, you can see that the 30-06 actually dumped most of its energy within the first 10 inches of this block, and then it started to break up. We have a few pieces of lead here in the second block, but that bullet as a whole pretty much broke up, and the only thing that came out was the jacket. So within the first 10 inches, that bullet had pretty much disintegrated, and we have some tiny little pieces of lead that made it about 23 inches, but those are just little fragments. Up next, we are going to use 270 Winchester. This is a Remington model 7400, and I'm loaded up again with the Hornady Precision Hunter, and these are 145 grain 270 Winchester. Okay, so that 270 Winchester hit that block really hard. I could actually see it smoking from all the way over there. Looks like we dumped all of our energy, and most of that bullet disintegrated within the first 9 inches, and then it traveled into the second block and stopped a little bit past 20 inches. Let's see if I can actually get that out of there. Now, is there any lead? Yeah, there's a little bit of lead left in there. That's not just jacket, but there's not much of it left. Let's get some new blocks and move on to the next caliber. The next caliber we're going to use is 243 Winchester. This is a Savage Axis bolt action rifle, and we're loaded up this time with Hornady again, but I could not find Precision Hunter in the 243 Winchester. So these are American Whitetail, and these are 100 grain interlock 243 Winchester. There we go. So in my opinion, so far, the 243 Winchester seems to be the weakest round we fired today. As you can see here, most of our energy dumped within the first 8 to 6 inches. A lot of that round broke up. The majority of it stopped at 13 inches, and then we still have a little piece that stopped at about 17 inches. The next gun we're going to be using is a good old 30-30. This is a Henry lever action 30-30, and I have some Hornady American Whitetail 150 grain rounds. This is iron sights, and I'm pretty sure this gun shoots far right, so I'm going to have to use some Kentucky windage. Hopefully we hit it. Man, I was aiming literally at the left edge of that block. So the 30-30 looks like it actually did a pretty good job when it comes to penetration, but that wound channel is not very impressive. Looks like we dumped most of our energy within the first 7 inches, and then you can see the round continued to travel on into the second block and stopped right at about 20 inches. And there is quite a bit of that round left. It held together pretty well and expanded quite nicely. This next rifle is quite the heavy hitter. This is 300 Winchester Magnum. This is a Christensen Arms Evoke, chambered in 300 Win Mag, topped off with a Nomad 30. And again, I'm loaded up with the Hornady Precision Hunter, and these are 200 grain. I would almost guarantee that that first block is going to do a backflip. Here we go. So I don't think I'm gonna need the ruler this time. The 300 Win Mag blew through both blocks, and then I believe somewhere over there in the berm or in that giant puddle of water. So it does appear about the first 11 inches is when we dumped a ton of energy and the round really started to break up. And then as you can see, it traveled all the way through both blocks. The table is broken. And as you can see here, almost the entire first block is the bullet breaking up and dumping energy. And then it continued on into the second block and then passed completely through it. Moving right along, up next we have 350 Legend. This is a CMMG Resolute, and I'm loaded up with some Hornady American Whitetail 170 grain interlock. Hopefully this shot is legendary. I hit a little bit low. So judging from what I'm seeing here, the 350 Legend seems to be a 30-30 on TRT. Looks like most of the energy was dumped within about the first 7 inches, but that wound channel is not very big, and then it continued on and almost made it through the entire 2 blocks. Okay, and there is our round, and it expanded pretty much exactly like the 30-30. Up next is another heavy hitter. This is a Savage Model 110, and it's chambered in 7mm Remington mag. And I'm going to be using the same Hornady Precision Hunter, and these are 162 grain rounds. I will be very curious to see how this compares to the 300 Win Mag. All right, here we go. Oh my gosh! That 7mm Remington mag hit that block really, really hard. Honestly, I'm kind of surprised. And this right here, let's see here. I would say that wound channel there is wider than anything we've seen today. This is the toughest part of the table. It is braced right here and it still pushed that plastic down. Looks like we dumped most of our energy in the first 9 inches. The bullet started to break up, but continued on all the way to about 24 inches. But the question is this just jacket or is this actually some bullet? Oh, wow, that's pretty gnarly looking. Huh. That still has some lead in there. Just a little bit of weight, but not much. But that is more than most rounds. I'm kind of impressed with 7mm Remington mag right now. We only have one rifle left today, and it's one that I've actually never heard of and I had to pick up for this video. This is a Savage Axis, and it's chambered in 25-06. So here is the 25-06. That is a 110 grain round, and again, it is the Hornady Precision Hunter. And here it is compared to the 30-06. It's basically the same case, but it's neck down to a 25 caliber bullet that is much lighter. The 30-06 is 178 grains, averages around 150 grains. This little guy is 110 grains. So I'm very curious to see what happens when this hits the ballistic gel. Direct hit. So the 25-06 actually delivered quite a bit of energy. You can see that it dumped a lot of energy within about the first 3 inches. So as you can see, we had a massive energy dump within about that first 5 inches. tapered off around 11, and then it actually continued on into the second block. Stopped at about 19 inches. But again, is this just jacket? Or is there some lead in there? Oh, wow. Yeah, there's some lead in there. It actually held together a lot better than I thought it would. Never heard of 25-06 before, but not bad. So, what was your favorite cartridge we used today? Which one do you think is the overall winner? And what is your top 3 if you had to pick? Let me know in the comment section down below. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure and give it a like and make sure you hit that subscribe button. Also, be sure to check me out on all other social media platforms. Links to those can be found in the description down below, along with a link to KentuckyBallistics.com, just in case you want to pick up a shirt. And don't forget that Trans Am giveaway is only going on for the next 2 days, and then that's it. Again, thank you so much for watching. My name is Scott, and I'll see you next time. Oh, it knocked my belt off. Oh, my radiator. Oh, my radiator looks like it's busted.